The next thing, oh, sorry, my cat. Keep going, darling. Sorry. She's used to having me to herself. Another thing that we find organisations don't get specific enough about are their audience. So you need to really think about who they are, how old are they, what do they do, what's important to them, and also importantly, what attitudes might they have that might not respond to your story. Oh, sorry, my computer just popped out of slideshow.
Well, that happens when you work from home.
It does.
We're all used to it. It's fun, yeah. I had a cat for 2 weeks and they love that. They love camera, so.
So everyone can see the audience slide again?
Yep.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah.
Because finding out what they might not respond to in the story, I'm so sorry about this cat, go away. If I let her out, she'll just scratch the door down. This is all very professional, I'm so sorry. If you find out what they might not respond to, then you can very subtly address that in your video or your communication, whatever you're making. It's actually a gift, even though it seems like it's not nice having barriers to people. The other things to think about are your goals, what outcomes you want to achieve, and you need to keep it smart. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And, you know, we just, I mean, once you get used to this, it doesn't actually take that long to run through all of this stuff, but it's just really worth jotting down so that you can make sure that whatever stories you start thinking about are going to tick most, if not all, of these boxes. Some other little tips, because there is a lot of competition for eyeballs, as we know. So the one thing to make sure of is that you've got a really good hook at the beginning. So you've really only got 3 to 7 seconds to grab people's attention. And then once you've got their attention, you don't want to overstay your welcome. So keep it short. Depending on how complex the story is, you know, 3 minutes tops. We've seen some really lovely stories that just took way too long to tell, and you just lost interest, which is a shame. And then do some brainstorming about what stories you could do to tick all of your boxes, and think up more than you need, and then pick the best ones. And one thing that we always say with brainstorming is there's no such thing as a dumb idea. So just put out everything, and particularly around, you know, COVID stories, there'll be lots, and some you might think aren't really worth talking about, but then they might lead on to other ideas. So yeah, just go for it with the ideas. Some of the best ideas we've come up with were a little bit left of field to start with, but then it sparks another idea, or you think, well, we could do it, but then like this. So it's good. So here's a little example of a video we made for SCAD Research Inc., which we think ticks all the boxes. I know we're biased, but I think it's good. Our client told us about this little known heart condition that affects fit, healthy women under 50. These women have no history of heart disease, and they often have small children. So no one knows what causes it or how to stop it happening again. And she also told us that heart disease affects 3 times as many women as breast cancer, which just totally blew us away. So she didn't have a huge budget, and imagined that the video would just be a survivor talking to camera about what happened to her, which would have still been a good video. But we only had 30 seconds, but we were just so shocked in the meeting about these incredible statistics and about how these women are, they're fit, they're healthy. I mean, she'd actually had a scared heart attack, and she'd just been on her way to netball. You know, the babysitter had just arrived. It was quite shocking. So we wanted to get that shock across in 30 seconds. So she had access to a group of SCAD survivors who were willing to be filmed. So we got a bit creative and did a bit more with the budget than one survivor talking. So I'll shut up and show you the video.
You might not think these women are heart attack candidates, but they've all had one. Heart disease claims almost 3 times as many women as breast cancer. A leading cause of heart attacks in younger women is spontaneous coronary artery dissection. A It is not known what causes the SCAD, and there may not be obvious symptoms. Please find out the signs of a heart attack, and whatever your age or fitness level, take them seriously. Early treatment can save your life. To find out more or donate to research, go to scadresearch.com.au.
So the results for that little video were, they were so happy with them. As you can see, it reached a lot of people and was very cost effective. So yeah, they were thrilled with that. So, and as we all know, we've been living through challenging times. And if you've ever read a self-help book, you know it's not what happens to you, but how you deal with it. So we're wondering how you've survived COVID. You know, did you have to do something differently to keep your volunteers safe? As a potential volunteer, I'd probably like to hear about that. Did you do something that led to better engagement with your beneficiaries? Did you have a lot more people needing your support, which is quite possible? How did you deal with that, and how did you go? Potential donors would probably really like to hear about how you made the most of what you had, or were nimble enough to take a completely new direction to deliver on your purpose. And with most people working remotely, you might not have as much imagery as you could. Maybe you could do a Zoom interview, or get your volunteers or your beneficiaries to do some selfie videos and send them into you, talking about, you know, what happened. And if you can't get video, make it a print story, but just make sure you get the stories out. There's some great sites with fantastic stock photography. You could get a really lovely image and write a really heartfelt story. And be creative, mix it up a bit. You can do a bit of everything. It's good to cover the bases. So we've got a couple of examples now that just show you what you can do. So this first one, they obviously couldn't talk to their patients, so they got some nurses to read some tweets, and it's lovely.
This message is from Tyler. I just completed my sophomore year when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. During my treatment, the nurses at City of Hope became my second family. One of the nurses made me do this crazy dance before every chemo treatment. It sounds silly, but it made me hopeful that the chemo will work, and for some reasons, it made my whole experience less scary. Even at 16, a funny dance was the perfect thing to find levity in an awful situation, and a memory that I will never forget. Dancing always helps.
This is from Nicole. When I was diagnosed with AML at 14, my whole world changed. I was an active teenager, but the intense treatment that followed required a lengthy and difficult hospital stay. It was hard being away from my family, but the nurses at City of Hope became my family and friends. After 1 year in remission, I competed in the Miss Norco pageant, and remember the incredible joy I felt when I walked out on stage and looked up to see a row full of my City of Hope nurses. We were so proud of you, Nicole. They were cheering me on and even made signs. It made it so much more special to me when I won, and that they were there to see it. Oh, she's awesome. She's a good kid. She went through a lot, and she came out shining.
Yeah, I mean, I love that video because it not only tells the stories of the patients, but you can see the effect on the nurses that care and having that appreciation gave them. So it's lovely. Now, this one, not everyone loves a cat video, but I love a cat video. And if you've got loads of images, but, you know, not many interviews or other footage, you can just tell a video with a whole lot of images and some text and some fun music. Hope that made your day on a rainy Tuesday.
Okay.
To you, Andy.
Okay, over to me. Look, so one of our clients who really quickly embraced technology and still deliver on their mission was a funding network. And their live crowdfunding events obviously couldn't happen because of COVID. And so they went online, and they're now just getting amazing results from a much bigger audience than they used to. And we're pretty sure they're going to stay with the hybrid events. And it's also worth noting that what they're really, really good at is, and they're getting really generous donations, is because they work hard with the charities on their pitching. They really get the presenters to focus on and nail their presentation to a really tight 3-minute story. And that's just critical. So everything's nice and tight and precise. And so if you've got a new way of working that's actually getting better results, you should let everyone know. You could also see if F&P Magazine or Pro Bono or Funding Institute of Australia would like the story, and you can get some exposure that way. Right, some top tips, just recapping. Know your purpose and your audience and your goals. Keep it relatable. It doesn't have to be complex. In fact, often the simplest stories are the ones that really work. And make sure you hook the viewer in. It's just, the first few seconds is so critical, and keep it short. I mean, a lot of things we do, 2 to 3 minutes is really the max, but it's going to be different for different platforms. Instagram, and you're not going to run a 2 or 3 minute video on Instagram usually. It's going to be quite short. You might have the same video and different versions of it. You might have a 15-second, a 30-second, and a 1 or 2 minute version. So when you're thinking about your ideas, you think about your platforms and different durations. And as Suzanne said, there is no such thing as a dumb idea when you're brainstorming. Try everything. So what we do is that we've got a storytelling filmmaking course, and what we really do is it starts off with the story arc, and it helps you find and structure your story. And that also is going to really help you with a content strategy as well, because you obviously really hone and find out what's important and get the story structured and then prepared, and also we teach you how to get it ready for video for an editor. And then what we also do, the other part of it, is we talk about actually how you're going to do it. About equipment to use, basic stuff too, not expensive, and tips on lighting, filming techniques, all sorts of stuff. So there's that. And then I think that's essentially us. And then our services that we offer is that we've got 3 levels, and essentials is where we're just provided with the footage and usually a script or some sort of structure, and that is quite inexpensive. That's usually just, it's in the hundreds of dollars, can be even low hundreds of dollars. And one of the things with that is I think a lot of people would I think they sort of they misunderstand how hard it can be to actually edit. It's a lot easier to shoot stuff, but if you've got it all organized, I mean, what we can do in an hour can often take someone that's not used to it several hours, and can be a real waste of your time. So that can be a really efficient way of working if you guys actually providing stuff, and we just knock it up really quickly for you. Our Collaborate option, which is our most popular, that's where we help with storytelling. We actually help with the structuring. It can be a few different areas, but usually there's certainly more involvement from our end. We still do the editing, and often still a lot of content is provided, but it might be a richer, more dense amount of content. And the bespoke option is basically like SCAD, where we do everything. We write it, come up with the idea, and treatment. So that's pretty much us, I think. I think we should probably open up to any Q&As and see if anyone needs some help with anything. So over to you, Maddie.
Yeah, so anyone just feel free to jump in or raise a hand if you've got any questions about any of the content or just storytelling in general.
Hi guys, Dave here down here in Canberra. How you going?
Hi Dave.
Hi Dave.
That was really interesting. I actually spent 20 years in the media myself, so
Okay.
editing and shooting and stuff like that. But it's been a long time since I've been in there. So just wondering, if let's say we either go to the first option or the collaborative,
Yep.
iPhones, Galaxy, Samsungs, all that pretty good quality film.
Yeah.
You're okay if we were to send that through to you in whatever fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be okay with it with that, yeah?
Yeah, look, if you jump on our website, there's examples there, and most of those examples have been shot on an iPhone or a Galaxy. And the biggest issue actually is audio, and that's what everyone seems to forget is, if you've got bad sound, you've got bad pictures. It doesn't matter how great the pictures are. So it's so important to spend $100 or $90 or something on a little lapel microphone and get good audio. And that's about it. It's that and a tripod. And then the rest of it is just available light. You can go nuts and buy tons of gear like me, but you absolutely don't need to. You can just get a little $20 tripod mount. You can get a $60 tripod or $80 tripod and a $80 microphone, and you are set. That's all you really need.
Because the visuals are great.
There's no problem with the vision. And there's definitely, some tips about how to set up your phone in terms of the format. Some people actually set their video so that it's running at 720, it's too low or something like that, but that's minor. But all the community videos, all the monthly updates, if you look at some of those, that's all Victor on his Samsung, and it's higher than HD quality actually. That's really good. So yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? I will just say that the content people have been really great in helping us with all the videos for our Virtually Together campaign. So if you want to check out any of our social media and just have a look at all those videos, because it's all been edited by Andy here and just recorded on a phone. So it's a really great example of, I guess, what you can do with just some simple technology.
Yep.
And what we find with the phones and getting people to film things themselves as well is that it's less confronting. If you do want to be talking to some beneficiaries or some people who, might be sensitive or have been through a vulnerable time, they might not want to talk to some film crew that comes in. But if it's just you with a phone, quite often it'll be a lot more of a relaxed process. And if you've had a little bit of a think about what you want to do first, so you've got some good questions and you can just have a conversation, you can end up getting as good, if not better, footage. So we're big fans of the phone.
Also, I might just jump in and quickly say, if you look at the community how-to video, that was just voiceover and screen grabs, I think, wasn't, and stock footage. So it was and just a professional voiceover. But it looks really professional, but it was essentially not very hard to do. The screen grabs were actually the hardest things, with me trying to figure out how to use. It's really easy to use. It was more operator fault than the platform. But anyway, it is actually easy. So that's a good example of how you can create stuff that's you don't have to go and film anything. It was quite simple.
And there are some great sites like Pixabay and Unsplash that have beautiful images and video that's absolutely free to use. Also, don't forget, you can use the Creative Commons filter on YouTube and find footage that's free to use as well. And, I found some stuff that I was not expecting to be able to find footage that I could use for something. And it was there. People had put it up as Creative Commons and you can use that. So, there's actually quite a bit of storytelling you can do without having to film anything. But if you are doing a voiceover, we still recommend using the little microphone because it is going to sound better than just talking into your phone. But if that's all you've got, then that's what you use.
Just a little tip on voiceovers. If one of the biggest problems is noise, with especially if you're doing it from home, the best place to do it is in your car. So yeah, we've done that on a lot of professional shoots out on site. Sometimes you actually jump into someone's car, especially if they've got a Mercedes or something like that. They're actually really quiet. So yeah, use your car.
Yeah.
So HR Holden's no good? No, I'm sorry. It's all right.
Oh,
Sorry, mate,
that'd
no,
be
it's a bit-
lovely.
It'll have a nice ambience about it. I've got a 76 Beetle, and that definitely won't work either.
Are there any more questions?
I'm saying, look, just thank you guys. That was really interesting. I've got to shoot through.
Okay.
But, that was really interesting. Thanks heaps for your time.
Thanks,
No worries, Dave.
Adam.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your question.
Yeah, I have a question, please. With do you have any like brands that you'd recommend for the mic, and also what
Yep.
do you edit your films on, please?
Okay. Well, there's a few brands, but really Rode is make a really nice little microphone. Is that, Suzanne, do we have those on our...
Rode?
I'll type it into the chat for you.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's called a Rode, is an RODE, Smart Lav.
Smart Lav Plus.
And Smart Lav Plus. And if you're using an iPhone, you need a little lightning to mini jack adapter. And they're about $20, anywhere between $10 and $20. I mean, you can buy these things just about anywhere. JB, Hi-Fi, you know, there's a lot of video places that sell them. And you just, of course, there's Amazon. Try not to buy too much from Amazon. I like to try and buy it from local providers if they've got them. And the microphones are about $70 or $80. And you should also get an extension for it. I think it's about a 3 meter extension.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually be, you know, quite a few, you know, you can be at least 2 or 3 meters away. Not that you need to be that far away, but if you are doing a wider shot, that's really essential.
Yeah, because the basic microphone only has a meter cord, so it's not that long.
Yeah, it's a bit.
You want a flattering shot, not too close.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just edit it on a laptop program? That's fine.
No, we use professional software. We use Adobe Premiere, and I mean, we've always, it was Final Cut Pro before, but now it's Premiere because that's sort of an industry standard for us. But and a lot of, if we need freelance support, there's plenty of people around that use it. The Premiere or Adobe do make a simpler version that's used for, I forgot what it's called. Is it Rush or something like that?
Yeah, Premiere Rush.
It is Premiere Rush, yeah. And I think that is designed for, you know, tablets and phones and stuff. So it's really, you know, you don't have a lot of the functions, but it's enough to cut stuff together. But if you really want to do the editing yourself, and you've got the time to do it, I'd strongly recommend you do a course. And there's so many courses around. We don't teach it because it's a whole, I mean, editing really is a whole nother craft and mindset. It's not just about using the software. I mean, sometimes it is if it's just simple top and tail. But if you're actually trying to structure a story, you know, there's a real skill to it. And you've really got to train yourself up. And, you know, lynda.com have fabulous courses. I think you should try and pay for one because they're not expensive and they're usually better than the free
that was
stuff.
lynda.com?
Yeah, Lynda. I think it's lynda.com. And they do courses in anything you can think of. The computer now. But they started off essentially graphic arts and in the media software, but now it's anything. And they're very good. And look, there's others around. There's other software around too, actually. But we just use Premiere because it's become an industry standard. But there are other ones around.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've got a Mac, iMovie is actually pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, because I travel to regional areas and I want to just, you know, film some volunteers while I'm out on the road, Condobolin, whatever. So it's nice to know I can go around with that basic mic and that will make a big
definitely.
difference.
And a tripod. You know, get yourself a tripod and just a little mount for it.
Okay, thank you so much. That was really helpful.
No worries.
I've just got a question as well that I thought might be something that a lot of people experience. I mean, I do as in the marketing role is, like, do you have any tips for creating content when you do, like when you don't have much time? Like you mentioned the, like the structure of defining each, you know, purpose, audience, all of those things. Do you just have any general tips to kind of cut down how to create an effective story?
Well, I wouldn't cheat on those ones. You do get really quick at working it out when you practice. But mainly, I mean, obviously, if something amazing is happening and you just need to capture it, just go for it and get what you can on your camera, either as stills or video, or even just record it and send it to Otter, which is this fantastic free transcription thing. Oh, actually, that's a good tip.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, if you download the Otter app, you can actually, it's meant for recording meetings, but it transcribes meetings, interviews, whatever, in real time on your phone. Or you can upload it and get a transcript later. And transcripts are really handy, particularly if you're gathering lots of different stuff. You know, say, Caroline, if you're, Caroline, sorry, if you're going to lots of different places, it would help you just, you know, pick the eyes out of which bits to use without having to look at everything. You can read it on the plane. So yes, Otter, oh no, I'll track myself, but yes, with the purpose and the audience, they're still really important to think about. And so you can retrofit it if you've just captured some amazing footage or a story's just happened. You then need to, there are different ways of telling that story and different angles to take. So I would still just very quickly think about, who is this for? What am I trying to communicate? And what's the best way to do that? And sometimes, you know, just a post out quickly is going to be the best way to do that. Sometimes if you've got more time, you can do a video or a print article. The main thing is just to get the stories out there. Visuals are good. If you can take a photo or a little clip of video, that would be ideal. But yeah, there's loads of different ways to tell a story. So quite often we'll just have a think about, well, what's the best way to tell this one? Is it a video? People who come to us normally think it is, so that's what we end up doing most of the time. But quite often we've just done print articles and you know, magazine articles, posts. So yeah. I think still getting the purpose and the audience and your goals clear are just crucial for any communication.
Just one thing with that, Maddie, you know, like in the beginning of your virtual updates, pardon me, we've got the little animated text. I mean, so my point being is that you can have a template like that that's from a making point of view. It's not the substance of it. You still got to do all those things that Suzanne said about the substance. But if you've got a visual template, like a little 15-second or 20-second animation of text, and you just rewrite it each time and just throw the text in, and that's something that you guys could quite easily do pretty quickly. The hardest thing is actually going to be coming up with the ideas for the text. It's not actually, but using templates can be quite, you know, for very quick things. If it's a text template or something like that, little animation, that's, you know, they're sort of quick and dirty ways of doing things.
Yeah, and you know, Canva has some really lovely templates, and I haven't actually checked it out yet, but I know they've gone into more video type things as well. So, and they're pretty stylish.
Yep.
Do we have any more questions? Last chance? No? That's all good. Do you guys have anything final you wanted to add?
I might just say one more thing just to add on to, if you don't know your story quite yet, then you've got, like, for example, we're working with some people, a land care group down Goulburn Way, and they've got a whole series of events coming up and activities and things like that, and they're not really quite sure what they're going to, you know, what their story is going to be, but they've got to capture it. And so it's really making sure that you're set up properly to capture stuff. And it doesn't necessarily matter what you're going to do with it, but if you don't capture it properly in the first place, then you're going to have all sorts of trouble down the track. So I would say like in anything, it's preparation. You know, if it's a live event, you think, oh, well, rather than just turn up and wing it and see how you're going to go, you think, well, no, we're actually going to put a camera at the back of the room and we need to get a microphone on so-and-so. Like, just think it through a bit, and then you can capture the stuff properly. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you're going to do with it.
You've
but
got
at least
options.
you've got it.
Yeah.
You've got options, lots of options.
Yeah.
And use more than one camera. Don't be afraid. You know, phones, you know, everyone's got them. So it's cheaper to go and buy a second tripod and a camera mount and chuck it over somewhere else and get another shot. So you've got stuff to actually edit with, rather than just pushing into things all the time. So, you know, just a little bit of preparation when you're coming up to something can just make such a massive difference to the end result down the track. And it usually doesn't cost much or anything. It can just be just thinking about it. So preparation.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of wraps things up. Suzanne, do you have anything else to add?
Not really. I mean, if you wouldn't mind, if Maddie's very kindly put the Typeform link into the chat, it would just be great to hear what you got out of today. And that wasn't me. Oh my God. It would be great to hear what you got out of today and whether there was anything that you would have liked to get out of today that you didn't, because our whole purpose is to make storytelling and video affordable and easy for people. So if you've got any tips about other things you would have liked to know, would have hoped you'd ask a question, but okay. Let us know in the Typeform. That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming this morning. I think that was really awesome presentation with lots of cool little tips of how to just make digital storytelling even that much easier. So someone from our team will be in touch with you all, and definitely check out that link that we shared in the chat, because once I end, it'll close. So if you want to click on that now to get that tab open, that'd be great. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed.
And thanks for coming, everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See ya.